In the beginning, there was nothing but wilderness, a vast, untamed land stretching endlessly under the sky, where hope was fragile and survival was uncertain. Yet even in that uncertainty, men and women with unshakable faith stepped onto these shores, their hearts burning with a single belief that freedom, though distant, was worth every hardship. The story of America was never one of ease or comfort. It was written in the sweat of pioneers, the courage of rebels, and the dreams of the restless. From the first wooden cabins built on the edges of the unknown to the mighty skyscrapers that now kiss the clouds, the journey of this nation has always been a story of resilience. When the early settlers crossed the stormy Atlantic, they didn't know what awaited them, but they carried within them a spirit that refused to break. They faced hunger, disease, and death, yet still they prayed, built, and believed. They didn't see the world as it was, but as it could be, and that vision became the spark that ignited a revolution. When George Washington took command of a ragtag army in the bitter cold of the American Revolution, victory seemed impossible. They had no proper weapons, no uniforms, and no guarantee of survival. But they had something far more powerful: purpose. Washington's soldiers weren't fighting for power or gold, they were fighting for an idea. The idea that people could govern themselves, that liberty was a right, not a privilege. Through blood and sacrifice, they carved that belief into history. Every wound they suffered became a testament to human endurance. Every victory, no matter how small, became proof that courage can outshine fear. When Washington crossed the Delaware River on that frozen Christmas night, he wasn't just waging a war, he was lighting a torch that would burn for generations. That night, amidst the icy winds and roaring river, America learned its first great lesson: that freedom is born not from comfort, but from struggle. Years later, when the young republic was torn apart by slavery, another leader would rise to test the nation's soul. Abraham Lincoln, a man born in a log cabin, carried the weight of a divided country on his shoulders. He wasn't the tallest general or the richest politician, but he had the heart of a lion. Lincoln understood that greatness isn't about power, it's about compassion. When he spoke of unity and freedom, his words didn't just echo through the halls of government, they reached the hearts of the common man. Through the fires of the Civil War, he reminded the world that even when darkness seems endless, light can be reborn. The war left scars that may never fade, but it also renewed the American spirit, a reminder that this land, though imperfect, has the power to heal itself through courage and conviction. Lincoln's leadership taught us that progress demands sacrifice, that justice requires persistence, and that peace is earned through understanding, not vengeance. As America entered the industrial age, a new kind of battle began: the fight to build, to invent, to dream. The roaring of factories became the music of ambition. Men like Thomas Edison and Henry Ford proved that innovation could be as revolutionary as war. Edison failed 1,000 times before he lit the world, yet he never called those failures defeats. He called them steps. Each flicker of his lamp symbolized human perseverance, a reminder that even when the world is drenched in darkness, one determined mind can bring light. Ford redefined mobility and freedom, proving that the American dream wasn't about privilege, but about possibility. These men didn't just create machines, they created momentum. The momentum that pushed America forward into the 20th century. Across every small town and growing city, people began to believe that with hard work, vision, and grit, they could turn their dreams into reality. So let us remember the sacrifices made, the battles fought, and the dreams that shaped our nation. Then came the Great Depression, a storm unlike any other. The stock market collapsed, banks failed, families starved, and hope seemed to vanish. But once again, America did what it always does. It stood back up. Farmers replanted, workers rebuilt, and communities held each other through the pain. It was a time of dust, hunger, and despair, yet it also became a time of unity. Franklin D. Roosevelt's voice over the radio reminded a wounded nation that courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. Through programs that put people back to work and words that reignited faith, he proved that no crisis is permanent when people refused to surrender. From the breadlines to the battlefields, Americans rediscovered their strength. They remembered that this country was born in revolution, forged in hardship, and destined to rise again and again, no matter how deep it falls. And rise it did when the world was plunged into the darkness of World War II. Young soldiers crossed oceans to defend freedom, many never to return. Factories turned into engines of hope, women filled the roles of men who went to war, and every citizen became a soldier in spirit. When the flag was raised on Iwo Jima, it wasn't just a victory, it was a symbol that no tyranny can extinguish the fire of freedom once it's been lit. The war ended, but the lessons endured, that unity is strength, that courage knows no gender, and that freedom is always worth the fight. Out of the rubble of war, America didn't just rebuild, it redefined leadership. It became a beacon of progress, a land where ideas could shape the world. Then came a different kind of battle, not fought with guns or bombs, but with voices and dreams. The civil rights movement reminded America that freedom must be for everyone, or it means nothing at all. Rosa Parks, by simply refusing to stand, ignited a revolution of dignity. Martin Luther King Jr. spoke not with hatred, but with hope, reminding the nation that true power lies not in violence, but in vision. His dream was not just for black or white, but for humanity, a world where character counts more than color. And though he was taken too soon, his dream did not die. It lives on in every act of courage, every fight for equality, every person who dares to stand up against injustice. America learned again that the path to greatness is never smooth, but it is always worth walking. Through the decades, America faced wars, recessions, crises, and doubts. Yet every time it stumbled, it rose stronger. From the moon landing that proved humanity could reach the impossible, to the innovation of the digital age that connected billions, this nation has constantly redefined what's possible. Every generation has faced its storm, and every generation has chosen to fight, not flee. Because the soul of America is built on one unbreakable truth: we do not give up. When tragedy strikes, we rebuild. When hope fades, we reignite it. When the future looks uncertain, we create it. But the story doesn't end in the past. The same fire that burned in the hearts of Washington, Lincoln, Edison, and King still burns today, in every dreamer who starts from nothing, in every immigrant who arrives with only hope, in every young student who dares to believe they can change the world. That fire burns in the nurse working through the night, in the builder raising a new home, in the soldier standing guard, in the teacher shaping tomorrow. America's greatness has never been about perfection. It's about perseverance. It's about standing tall after being knocked down, about turning pain into purpose and struggle into strength. So when you feel lost, when your dreams seem too far away, when the world tells you that you can't, remember this story. Remember the pilgrims who crossed an ocean. Remember the soldiers who fought in freezing valleys. Remember the leaders who gave everything for unity and justice. Remember the inventors who turned failure into light. Remember the marchers who faced hate with love. And remember that all of them were once ordinary people who chose extraordinary courage. You too are part of that legacy. Your struggle, your pain, your hope, they all matter, because history is not just written in textbooks, it's written in hearts like yours. Every time you rise after falling, you are continuing the story of America. Every time you choose integrity over comfort, you honor those who built this land. Every time you dream bigger than your fear, you prove that the American spirit is still alive. The fire that built this nation was never meant to fade. It was meant to be passed on, from generation to generation, from heart to heart. You are the torchbearer now. So light your own path, build your own story, and when life gets hard, and it will, look to the horizon and remember what this nation was built on. Not power, not luck, but perseverance. For the strength of America has never been its wealth or its weapons. It has always been its people.
people like you who refuse to give up. So rise, dreamer. Rise. Builder. Believer. The world may doubt you, but history is waiting for your courage. The land that gave birth to freedom is calling you to create, to lead, to stand tall. Let your failures be your teachers, your scars be your medals, your heart be your compass. Because the same fire that built America burns in you.